Good evening, good morning. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita session. We were discussing chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. So we covered up to Shloka 8 in the previous session. So Shloka 1 to 3 was a brief introduction about this chapter. Please note that this chapter was started by Krishna himself. He was very much impressed with Arjuna as a student. When the teacher get inspired by the student, he will continue to teach more. So Krishna said, I'm going to teach you more. I'm going to repeat certain things, but for your understanding, for your benefit, because sometimes you need to have that deep diving or double clicking into whatever they have discussed. And I'm going to talk about that. And what is the benefit of this? This is going to help you a lot. And I'm going to teach you out of my love for you. And then he get into the subject matter of this chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. So he started slowly exploring what is this Vibhuti. So he said, everything in this universe, whether it is matter, anything and everything you can see in this universe is me. So it's not just the physical world that is a manifestation of myself. Whatever you see in your mind, the thought, every emotions, all that is my manifestation. So that was one thing. And then he said, all the sages, right? All the first human being, Manu and Tarupa, they manifested from me. And the whole human race is after them. That is the Puranic belief. He was just using that and just said, in other words, the whole human being came out of me. And then he said, like, for any human being to perform well in the world, there are two types of teachings that are needed, or two disciplines that are needed. One is the pursuit of our action or the karma. You cannot just make progress in life by sitting idle. So you have to work hard. What exactly is that path? What is the way you should work? How can you be more efficient in your activity? What type of activity you need to do, etc. So there is a teaching related to that, and that is called the Pravritti Lakshana Dharma. So it is conventionally believed that the 7 sages called Sapta Rishis are the one who formulated this teaching and given to the humanity. And Krishna said, I am the one who instilled this teaching. Even the Sapta Rishis came from me, and I am the one who taught the Sapta Rishis about this whole Pravritti Lakshana Marga. But just work alone is not going to make any progress in any human being. You need the inner growth also. Just like you are making material progress, the outside progress, you need the inner growth also. So there is a science behind that, or there is a teaching behind that, and that is known as Nivritti Lakshana. You withdraw, you try to make that inner growth. So you need these two for a human being to function in this world. And it is believed that the 4 Kumaras, the Manasaputras of Brahmaji, Sanat Kumara, Sanaka, Sanatana, these and Pingala. So these 4 people, ever children, they are the one who created this knowledge, the path of Nivritti. So the path of Pravritti and path of Nivritti is taught by me. And the whole universe came out of me. Everything you can see, that is from me only. So that meaning those are the key points he said in Shloka 4, 5, and 6. In Shloka 7, he said, I am the source and cause of the universe. See, he said, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha, the origin of everything. Matta sarvam pravrittade. All the beings, all the things arise and evolve in me only. And then he said, all the wise people, realize this truth, right? So whenever they see something good, whenever they see the manifestation of the universe, they understand that this is Ishvara's manifestation. Whenever they see some skills in them, they see that as the skill of Ishvara, and they worship. That creates that awareness or that knowledge that, oh, when I see a beautiful art form, I see that that skill that came through the artist, which is the skill of Ishvara. It is the skill of the Ishvara that came through that artist. That artist is just an instrument. Like that, whenever you see the sunrise, my God, if you just look at any system in the universe, whether it is the human system or whether it is the nature or whether it is the ecology or the cycles of the universe, anything, you can see the wonders, the splendors everywhere. And when you understand that all this is designed, maintained, governed, and managed by Ishvara, then naturally from that awareness, you will be devotional to Ishvara. And that time you try to worship the Ishvara with full devotion. And that devotion, Krishna said, it is unshakable devotion, right? So he said, Avikampena yogena. He said, unwavering devotion. It is not that a devotion that fades away when some prayer doesn't work. No, it is that Avikampena yogena. You will be connected to me. So that is what Krishna promised. So these are the key points we talked so far. So let's go to Shloka 9 today. So 9, 10, and we will try to see, if possible, 11. But those are the shlokas we are trying to see. But my request is, please pay attention and try to understand this teaching, because this is such an amazing teaching, what Krishna is explaining. Because he's not asking you to see a God in the heaven. He's not asking to see a God after your death as a post-mortem reward. He's trying to make us see that Ishvara here and now. And when you see that Ishvara in the whole universe, from that knowledge, you will develop a devotion. And that devotion is much stronger than believing something which you don't know anything about, right? So devotion is what? Devotion is love. That is the meaning of devotion. Prema, bhakti's definition is prema. So how can you love somebody who you don't know? How can you love or relate with a person whom you don't know? And how many devotees knows or try to know that Ishvara? So when you think about the religion, there is a lower side of the religion and there is a higher side of the religion. So majority of the people in the universe, they try to keep themselves in that lower side of the religion. What is that lower side of the religion? See, I use so many things for my convenience. I use a phone. That is a convenience for me. I use computers, or I use artificial intelligence. All these things as I use as a tool to help me to acquire or possess something. 99% or 90% of the people in the world, they see God as a convenience for them. Right? So if you think about, go to a temple and listen to the prayers, most of the people will come and pray, right? Like, let my job be safe, let my family be safe, let me get this, let me get that. That is the usual type of prayer. And there is nothing wrong in that. But please try to understand, why am I trying to relate with that God, right? I am trying to relate with that God for the world or for myself. And when you realize the true nature of the God or the glory of Ishvara by converting your bhakti or elevating your bhakti from that Ekarupa Ishvara to Vishwarupa Ishvara. Earlier, the God was in the temple. sitting in the sanctum in the form of a Shiva or a Vishnu or Ayyappa or Devi, that got transcended into the whole universe. When you see that the glory of the sun, you see that Ishvara there. Whenever you see the photosynthesis or whenever you understand the photosynthesis, you will see that Ishvara's glory. So wherever there is some splendor or a glory or something happening, you see that Ishvara. You don't need to go to heaven. You don't need to go to any place. Ishvara is everywhere. Everything and anything is Ishvara. And every beauty is Ishvara's. Every splendor is Ishvara. And that understanding of Ishvara is going to develop a devotion. And that devotion is the best, is a better devotion. That devotion is a more sustaining devotion. Otherwise, what is going to happen? Suppose I used to pray to God and suppose the prayer didn't work. Meaning you can see, you can read people say that, don't you have eyes? Even songs are there. You are so cruel, you don't listen to my prayers, all these type of, and some people even lose their faith. Why? Their understanding is not strong. So try to understand Ishvara. So the bhakti can be developed because of the love for the material objects, or because for the security of myself, or because of my desire for something else, and I'm using God as a means to solve my security issues and material issues, desires. So the love for the God starts with my love for the material objects and love for myself. And that will transcend. So you come to God because of your desire. And here the bhakti develops because of your understanding. So because of your understanding, whatever you develop, that is more sustainable. And the whole chapter, this is the one theme. You try to see Ishvara in the universe, and from that understanding, develop a bhakti. That is a stable bhakti. So this is very important to keep in mind. Whenever we study this chapter, this point is very, very, very important. So let's go to Shloka 9. Let's listen to Shloka 9.
मच्चित्ता मद्गतः प्राणाः बोधयन्तः परस्परम् कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च.
This is a beautiful shloka. Let's try to see the gist of it, and then we are going to deep dive into each word of the shloka. So this shloka describes the mindset of a Virat Bhakta. What is Virat Bhakta? Virat Bhakta means a Bhakta who sees Ishvara in the Virat form. Virat form means in the form of the universe. So a person who can find Ishvara, or a person who can see Ishvara in the universe, who are constantly connected with Ishvara, that what should be the mindset of that devotees? What is the mindset of these Virat devotees who connected to Ishvara through knowledge of the Virat Rupa or the Vishwarupa, and who are connected to Ishvara through Avikampena Yogena? We saw that in the previous verse. So what exactly is their attitude? So their mind and senses will be always filled with Ishvara. I'm going to explain that, because this is not, you're not thinking about Ishvara and not thinking about the world. That is not the meaning is. So we're going to explain that. Then what is that? What else they will do? So they always see Ishvara everywhere. That is point number one. Then the second point is they always find joy and fulfillment in sharing that knowledge with other people. And they appreciate that divine presence in everything. And this type of devotion, right, brings contentment and joy regardless the external circumstances, right? So this is very important. So such devotees who sees Vishwarupa Ishvara, and that devotees will always start sharing that knowledge with other people, and they always appreciate that divine presence in everywhere, and that type of devotion is going to bring commitments and joy to them regardless of the external circumstances. One day it will be hot, and the other day it will be cold. One day it is profitable, the other day it is loss. So someday it is happy, someday it is sadness. It doesn't matter. Irrespective of the circumstances, this devotion is going to keep their mind stable and contented. And because of that, their lives are deeply fulfilling, and their life can be considered as spiritually successful. That is the essence of this shloka, because this is the benefit of this Virat Bhakti. So let's go to each word. So the first one is Mat Chitta. That is the first word Krishna used. Mat Chitta, Madgata Prana. So Mat Chitta. So the first word he said is Mat Chitta. Mat Chitta means their mind. And their mind is constantly fixed on me. What does that mean? What does that mean? Are they not thinking about anything else? Are they not seeing anything else? And their senses, and he say Madgata Prana. The word prana here means sense organs. It's not the actual prana, apana or anything. So he says their sense organs are always filled with me. Their mind is always filled with me. How? Does that mean that he's constantly looking at or gazing at the picture of Krishna? Or constantly meditating about Krishna and not going and doing anything else? No, that doesn't mean that. Remember, you have to connect it with the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, what did Krishna said? What is the characteristics of such devotees, Virat devotees? When I see rain, I see Ishvara in that rain. When I see a flower, I see Ishvara in that flower. And I know that all the thoughts in my mind are sustained by Ishvara. So, whatever he sees Ishvara, it's not that he is looking at Ishvara constantly. Instead, he develop an attitude. Instead, he develop a mindset. Whatever, the computer I'm looking in front, right? Or the camera I'm checking right now, or the book I'm looking, or the image I'm looking, everything is Ishvara. So you see Ishvara everywhere. Not that you're constantly looking for Ishvara. You see Ishvara everywhere. And whatever thoughts come to your mind, you know that it is Ishvara. Remember the example of the movie? Every character in the movie is nothing but the light. So everything externally, internally, where I'm seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, thinking, feeling, everything is Ishvara. So they know that their mind is filled with Ishvara, and they know that their senses are seeing only Ishvara. So that is what Mat Chitta Madgata Prana. And then he say that Madgata Prana. And then they say that, what is that? The next point is, so they say they enlighten one another. Bodha Anya Parasparam. So they say whenever they talk to each other, right? Instead of saying that, oh, I want that, or I did this, he always acknowledged that Ishvara. Oh, I was able to do that by his grace. That's it. So I will be only an instrument. And I share this knowledge with other people. That is exactly what we all are doing here. We are sharing with each other because it is our responsibility to share this knowledge with other people. So they see Ishvara everywhere, not just they see, they talk about Ishvara one another. And then continuously they speak of me, Kathayantamam. So that doesn't mean that they are not going to talk about anything else. This is a priority for them. They always acknowledge the fact that Ishvara is there. And Krishna say that they find satisfaction and delight, meaning they find happiness. Ramanti means that inner joy comes out of them. Ramayanti iti Ramanti. Ramanti means that inner joy comes from them. The word Rama came from this Ramantade, like the one who makes you happy from inside is Rama, or the one who finds happiness within himself is Rama. That is the literal meaning of Rama. So this is a beautiful shloka. When you become a Virat devotee, it means a lot, right? So he sees Ishvara everywhere. He knows that all the thoughts and emotions in him is Ishvara, and he lives in that spirit. He acknowledges that presence of Ishvara. And then what he does, he shares that with other people. It's not your arrogance. That is, every skill you have is Ishvara's skill. Everything you have is a gift of Ishvara. And when you understand Ishvara from that perspective, you will share that. And they continuously talk about this because they won't forget Ishvara. And then such devotees, they will tushyanti, they will find satisfaction. Otherwise, you may have $1 billion, but still you are not happy. This means you may have something or may not have something, but you're irrespective of the external circumstances. So let's go to that point I was talking earlier one more time, right? So the essence of this shloka is those devotees who are constantly connected with Ishvara through their mind and senses, they find joy and fulfillment in sharing this knowledge with other people. They will discuss the glories of the Ishvara expressing through the universe, and they appreciate the divine presence in everywhere and in everything. And then what is going to happen? This devotion is going to bring contentment in them, joy in them, regardless of the external circumstances. And that is going to make their life deeply fulfilling and spiritually successful. That makes their life deeply fulfilling and spiritually successful. This is the essence of the shloka. It's a beautiful shloka. I think we all should listen to that. So such people, right? When you say all the sense organs are mind are dedicated to Ishvara, what happens? All their actions will be done as an offering to Ishvara. And then what happened? They will live a God-centered life, right? So everything they do that as an offering. Whatever they eat, again, it's an offering to God. Whatever they do, that is an offering to the day, to God. And that is a holistic absorption. It is not just the mind. It is the body. It is the senses. Everything in that person will be immersed in the devotion. And this type of devotion will not come when you think about Ishvara just from a material perspective. If the relationship is only for a transactional perspective, that type of relationship, meaning this type of inner joy, satisfaction, it will not get there. So naturally you may ask me, right? Then what is the point of that other type of devotion? Isn't it not good? No, it's still better. It's still better. Because imagine if that type of really, see, the 99% of the religion is that the so-called the immature, I will not call lower or higher, but the beginning stages of the religion. It is saying that, okay, they are afraid of God. They are afraid of the God and they are praying to God. So like a big boss. They worried that, okay, they will get punishment from God if they don't do anything wrong. So such a life will give a discipline. Otherwise, what is going to happen? There won't be any morality. There won't be anything in the world. So to bring that initial discipline, actually, this is very important. You start with that initial type of devotion, but never ever stay. You just need to progress into the higher devotion. That is very important. Actually, I don't know, like, meaning those who know Hatha Yoga, a lot of people comes to Hatha Yoga first. For what? To get some flexibility, maybe to improve their health. But you can see those who are yoga teachers, like lot of that initial coming, they started get interested in spirituality. I know a lot of people like that. They start with the simple Hatha Yoga, but once they start with the Hatha Yoga, gradually they get into meditation, they get into spirituality, they comes to Gita, they started studying Yoga Sutra. That happens. That happens. And there are so many examples like that. So there is nothing wrong in that type of devotion, but we should not stay there forever. Okay, so we'll see one more shloka. Before that, let's listen to this shloka one more time.
मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणाः बोधयन्तः परस्परम् कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यम् तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च.
Okay. So the next shloka 10, let's listen.
तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते.
So he says, Tesham satata yuktanam, those who are always connected with me, always steadfast in yoga, or always connected with me, those type of devotees. Because earlier we said the devotees will be always connected to Ishvara, avikampena yogena. So that devotees are referred here. Satata yuktanam, they are always connected. How? I don't see anything other than Ishvara. So I'm always connected with Ishvara. Whenever I open the eyes, Ishvara. Whenever I close my eyes, it is Ishvara. That's it. And then what is that? Bhajatam. So those who worship me, how? Preeti Purvakam. So with love, those who worship me means not putting flower, appreciating that Ishvara. Appreciating that Ishvara and offering all my actions to Ishvara. Right? Whatever I do, it's an offering to that Ishvara. That's it. So that's what it means. So it need not be the cooking you do, eating your food, anything, the bathing or writing, anything you do. And that's all became worship. Right? Yat pravurti bhutanam yena sarvamitam tadam so karmana tadarchasya siddhim vindati manavaha. 18th chapter, 14th verse. Krishna tells, the best kind of worship is what? Not offering the flowers and worshipping me. Offer your actions unto me. That is the best one. So then you should not take those actions which cannot be put in front of God. Right? Imagine Ishvara is seeing my actions. And I cannot, if I believe that a particular action, I cannot present in front of God, don't do it. So that doesn't mean that it automatically put that discipline there. So when you do that type of worship, like bhajanti preeti purvakam, and Krishna says, I give you a promise. What is that promise? I grant the wisdom to you. Buddhi yogam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give you that necessary wisdom by which you come to me, you know me, you realizes me. I grant that wisdom, which is known as Buddhi Yogam, and by which you come to me. Yena mam upadayanti te. We need to understand this a little bit better. So let's go back to our framework of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So we said, what is our biggest difficulty? Why am I suffering? The reason is I don't know who am I or what am I, what I am. I think that I am this body, mind, but I don't know that I am the Atma or the consciousness which is beyond the body and the mind. This is the fundamental problem. And why? If I don't know something, what is the reason? Ignorance. Right? I don't know about machine learning. Why? Because I'm ignorant to machine learning. I don't know about medical science because I'm ignorant to medical science. What is the solution? Learn, understand it. So if the self-ignorance is the problem, by listening to Gita or by listening to Upanishad, we always hear, I am Atman, Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, all those things left and right. But still, I see Atma as something outside of me. I understand Atma, I understand the nature of the Atma, but I don't understand that that Atma is me. That is the problem. So this avaranam or the veil of ignorance, it needs to be cleared by the knowledge. And if that knowledge is not clearing, there are some challenges, right? For that knowledge to work, the Vedanta tells, you need to have a pure mind, you need to have a controlled or a stable mind. Vikshepa mala nivrutti. Right? We always talk about this. And this is what is known as Antakarana Shuddhi. Antakarana Shuddhi. And in this one beautiful shloka, Krishna is giving the technique to gain this Antakarana Shuddhi and thereby gaining the knowledge. He tells, if you started developing this devotion here, and if you are connected with me always, if you worship me through your actions, if you worship me through your actions, and if you take the results as the prasada, naturally you are doing karma yoga. So that karma yoga and that upasana is worshipping me. So when you do that karma yoga and upasana yoga, I am going to bless you with buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga is a synonym for karma yoga. Right? Buddhi yoga is a synonym for karma yoga. In the Vedanta, the most difficult subject, people think that it is the nature of the Atman that is the most difficult thing to understand. No, it is the karma yoga. Most misunderstood thing is the karma yoga. So people think that, okay, a hardworking person, they call him as a karma yogi. Absolutely not. A hardworking person, you can say that it is a hardworking person. That doesn't mean that he is a karma yogi. So karma yoga means it is not, nobody can perform karma yoga. People can perform only karma, but if they perform that karma or the action with an attitude, what is that attitude? Ishwararpana buddhi. That is exactly what Krishna is saying here. When you perform your karma with the Ishwararpana buddhi, and when you take the results with the prasada buddhi, I am going to bless you with the buddhi yoga, and also I am going to guide you to mam upayanti. I will take you to myself. So again, this shloka indicates that karma yoga and bhakti yoga are not two different parallel paths. Karma yoga is bhakti yoga. That's it. This is very important because a lot of time people get confused. People think that, okay, emotional people will go to bhakti, action-oriented people will go to karma. No, karma yoga is bhakti yoga. Meaning you can use it as worshipping through a flower, but you can extend that to any worldly activity. And when you offer your actions to Ishvara, and that becomes one of the greatest devotion, and this Virat Bhakti is going to help you to do that properly, because you see Ishvara everywhere. You see the glory of Ishvara everywhere. You see how Ishvara is working everywhere. And that is going to make you offer these actions to Ishvara, and eventually you will get liberated. And that is why unveiling that divine wisdom through this devotion. So that is how the Bhakti Yoga is good. If you have Bhakti, and that Bhakti can take you to the highest. Because initially Bhakti is going to help you to remove all your impurities, and thereby the Bhakti is going to help you to gain the knowledge. So the Bhakti Yoga is equally applicable in Vedanta. There is nothing wrong with the Bhakti Yoga, because some people who study Vedanta, they think that the Bhakti Yoga is not good for them. No, not like that. So now you see everything merging and everything is connecting together. So this is the beautiful shloka. So let's listen to this shloka one more time, and then we can do some Q&A.
तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते.
So we saw two shlokas. The first shloka we saw was, what should be the attitude? What would be the attitude of a devotee who sees Ishvara everywhere? His mind is always filled with Ishvara. His sense, whatever he sees, hears, touches, smells, and tastes, he sees Ishvara there. So in his internal world and in his external world, he sees only Ishvara. And when he developed that type of devotion, he cannot stop sharing, right? He will share that with other people. He will talk about the nature of the Ishvara to everywhere. And that type of devotion is going to help him or her to see that divinity or that divine presence everywhere. And that is going to develop them to develop an inner joy, which is not dependent upon the external circumstances. And then Krishna is going to say that, not just that, such devotees, Krishna is going to say, I am going to bless them with the Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means the yoga of attitude, which is synonym to Karma Yoga. And I'm going to give them the Jnana Yoga, which is the knowledge, so that they come to me. They will be liberated. Beautiful, clear shlokas.